This is London. With a population of more than 8.5 million citizens and around 3.5 million homes, it is predicted that London will grow by 80,000 citizens per year for the next 25 years. The average price for a home within the city is £500,000. These homes are producing more than 45,000 tons of CO2 emissions and consume more than 60,000 gigawatt hours in gas and electricity. This data is a reflection of a deteriorating and depleting ecosystem of resources on a global level. An ecosystem which urgently needs to find a sustainable relationship between the environment and the demands created within controlled and limited areas. Housing, then, converts into a brute element that can help us solve this systemic instability, beginning with local problems. We must think and act now with new tools based on creating a rupture in traditional urbanism, which will transition us from a paradigm of crisis towards a stability centered in the principles of homeostasis. In the same way that the Earth is subject to natural cycles, we must also be capable of ending and finding an equilibrium within the cycles of our own cities, compensating for demand with what can be produced and recycled from waste generated. How would we apply homeostasis to a case like London? According to the current urban typologies from each neighborhood, there are specific intervention strategies capable of equilibrating the needs of each area without jeopardizing the coexisting ecosystems. The areas of opportunity respond to existing edification that is currently a functional or structural energetic drain within the city, as well as being density deficient and complex zones that comprise the urban fabric. An analysis of London's urban structure serves us to identify typologies of the areas for intervention. For the process of densification, we would introduce the concept of a remaining building capacity for the consolidated edification, permitting an element of negotiation that is fundamental to the whole intervention. The new edification for the existing urban fabric would encourage the necessary financing to face the rest of the operations that would stabilize the city's ecosystem. Due to the opportunity to construct within the remaining building capacity, we are able to finance the building's fundamental energetic rehabilitation, as well as creating possible new uses for the community, which could help reduce unnecessary traveling within the city. At the same time, these improvements will convert buildings into energy-producing nodes, capable of supplying via renewable systems the energy demands of the building and even part of its city block. These nodes would also be capable of collecting and recycling rainwater, transferring it to the internal water supply network. This would all be realized with sustainable materials that help reduce the impact of a building's waste and rebalance the building's life cycle. The sum of all of these operations would create a drastic reduction in carbon dioxide emissions and, accordingly, the impact of our urban ecosystem on a global scale. Each intervention would be seen in itself as a part of a greater search for global equilibrium, replicable and transferable to any part of the city, converting the human ecosystem into a self-regulating, homeostatic structure.